New Brunswick, a city nestled alongside the Rutgers River, has history dating back all the way to a young colonial America. And over 100 years ago, mass transportation, such as this fast trolley, existed to serve the community. Rails for streetcars were a regular sight along the roads. But something happened along the way that changed everything. The rise of the automobile industry was a factor in the death of street rail lines. America's focus shifted toward the car and soon revolved completely around it. New Brunswick's design over the years would reflect this change, catering to the automobile. These design alterations would ultimately weaken the sense of community and contribute to crime and apathy. New Brunswick's crime rate has consistently exceeded the national average since the start of the millennium. The current setup of New Brunswick creates a food desert, pushing people toward cheap, processed food with high fat and sugar content. This could lead to chronic conditions such as diabetes and heart disease. With all of these problems, New Brunswick finds itself on the low end of the built-form evolutionary spiral. Where do we go from here?
Our vision for transit-oriented development focuses not only on creating a modern train station, but also developing better intra-city transit. Due to the large and diverse population, many in the city do not drive cars, making it hard to get around at times. We propose to do what cities like Portland and Minneapolis are doing and going back to the basics. This means reintroducing a streetcar system back into the city. Some benefits of a streetcar system include increased rider capacity over buses, decreased street noise, and an increased community engagement. At the turn of the century, New Brunswick had an extensive streetcar system that served New Brunswick but also the surrounding towns. The system we propose would use historic recreations of the streetcars that used to run in the city. The historic streetcars could possibly even become something of a tourist attraction, much in the way that the cable cars attract tourists in San Francisco. Creating the system would not be cheap, but federal funding does exist. In 2010, the federal government awarded over $250 million in grants to various streetcar projects. This, coupled with state and local funding, means that a new streetcar system for the city is completely within reach. Another important aspect of our vision deals with the use of waterfront in the city. When one thinks of Great World cities, one must also think of the great waterfronts those cities began with. One thinks of New York and the Hudson River, San Francisco and the Bay, Paris and the Seine. In New Brunswick, we have the Raritan River. This river at one point in time was the lifeblood of the city, being used to transport goods and people all over the East Coast. Now, it is simply something we look at when driving on Route 18. There is currently Boyd Park, which is situated next to the river, but this is underutilized. The whole time filming this scene on a sunny afternoon, only one person is seen walking in the park. This is because Route 18 acts as a buffer between the people of the city and the river. Our ambitious vision for the city calls for Route 18 to be completely covered and enclosed. Above this highway, there would be more green space as well as increased development. This plan would bring development right up to the waterfront and also create a park that spans the length of Route 18. Just imagine sitting above Route 18 in a cafe, overlooking a beautiful park and river. This vision will bring people to the water and create a more compelling and dynamic sense of place.
After identifying the problems currently affecting New Brunswick, we started to create a vision. From data to sketches to a 3D model, we created a vision for New Brunswick in 2050, incorporating solutions to the problems we have identified. This sketch was a starting point for what a TT6 area in New Brunswick would look like. Here is a first look at a model for what the current downtown area of New Brunswick could look like by 2050. We have focused at the heart of the TT6 district around a new train station. Building heights range from 100 to 650 feet. Several current buildings such as the Gateway Transit Building and the Easton Avenue Apartments have been left in the model to provide context. The following views will further detail the aspects of our vision. High-speed rail will be the main connection to surrounding towns and cities. Over the train tracks will be an elevated park, offering impressive views of the nearby plaza and downtown area. The park will connect nearby buildings and offer entrances to the train station. The park will offer a new pedestrian space built into a city that is built around walking. This view is from a skybridge connecting buildings and offering access to the park. Here is another view that shows the park, the train tracks below, and the train station as a blue glass structure on the left. This higher perspective shows the park as well as the plaza that will define the heart of New Brunswick. The water pool sits at the current location of the Ferrendeck Mall. This view looks north along Albany Street. The area will be served by light rail and a streetcar system. Walking will be the easiest mode of transportation in the downtown area. This elevated view shows the plaza in front of the train station, streetcars, a cafe, and even a waterfall on the side of the train tracks. Another perspective of the plaza. Note the green space added in the rear of the Easton Avenue Apartments in the upper left. This view from a solar transit shelter offers a look at the integration of the streetcar system into the downtown area. This final view shows the plaza from the train station. Pedestrians, bicyclists, food vendors, seating, and water can all be seen in this view. New Brunswick in 2050 needs to have a great urban plaza. Our vision incorporates the elements that make plaza successful. With such a space and an effective multimodal transit system, New Brunswick would be a sustainable, healthy city for the future.
There is so much potential with New Brunswick. Each and every one of us is capable of making the change. It all starts with a vision.
Am I on camera? TV?
No, not TV.
Take a picture of me while you're at it. You take a picture of me while you're at it.